So we're with Jamel Robinson in his studio in Harlem in Manhattan, and he's got 3 styles that he's known for. And the first one that we're looking at, can you talk to us about this?
So these are electric wind paintings, and they're an homage to Jackson Pollock and Ralph Lauren. Jackson Pollock in the sense of the way I pour the paint, and Ralph Lauren in the sense of this. He had a sweater in the 1990s that was a cream pea wing. So it's a cream sweater with a colorful pea, like a track wing with a foot. And there was one that we used to call the invisible pea wing. I used to wear polo a lot back in those days. It was very important to us. It still kind of is, depending on who you talk to. But that's another story. So the invisible pea wing was a cream sweater with a cream patch. So from far away, you didn't really know what was on the sweater, but from up close, you definitely knew that it was a pea wing. So when I was making these paintings, it came to me that they were similar to the pea wing. And from that point on, I began to put words in and other images so that from far away, you might not know what they are, but from up close, they were identifiable. So here, this part of the process is called electric wind. It was a name given to me by a good friend of mine who, that's what came to his mind when he saw the paintings. He said that they moved like wind and electric wind at that. So I just kept the name. And so here's some of those pieces. They've gone from plain electric wind with some wording to electric wind with abstract self-portraiture in them, which is the other technique that I'm most known for doing. Then you have some electric wind that are waxed. You have all white electric wind behind you and above you. Then you have abstract self-portraiture, which is the thing that I'm most known for doing, or I was for quite some time. I think I'm known for doing a few different things now. And the abstract self-portrait, all of my work is self-portrait. So everything I do is a reflection of me in one way, shape, or form. Even something as abstract as this, that's me, because it came from me. But the abstract self-portraiture, I taught myself how to paint 5 years ago, and the first thing that I did was I was stenciling this character over and over and over again, and I mean, my art history is a little longer than that, but the short of it is I went from stenciling this character over and over to having a desire to freehand paint the character. So I wanted to try to paint it, and from that process, I taught myself how to do these abstract self-portraits, because I don't paint what I see in that way, so I just practiced over and over and again, and this is what kind of came out of that. The third, I guess, I mean, I have so many styles. I also do mixed media, whatever comes to mind. I paint purely whatever's inside of me, I just let it out. That's kind of, it's my response to what goes on inside of me. So you have mixed media here. Sometimes I'll just cut up newspapers and magazines, and the images will be laying around the studio, and then as they, you know, form pieces, this is what they look like.
What are you working on right now?
The thing I'm working on right now, you would have to travel with me.
I'm
now.
traveling. This is Stewie the turtle.
Stewie
Stewie,
guards
resident
the place. I'm working on custom coats. That's what I'm working on currently.
So you're painting the coats?
Yeah, the idea is to make coats feel like you're wearing paintings. So example, rather than just have an article of clothing, but really I just make them for myself. I don't let people buy these. At least not currently.
Well, the new Ralph Lauren is born.
Yeah.
Much hipper. That's really beautiful.
So I'm doing that, but what I'll show you, my focus right now is canvas sculpture and also interactive fabric sculpture for an exhibition that I have coming.
And you paint on the wall when you get...
I did paint on the wall at the time. The whole apartment used to be covered in paint, floor to ceiling, but I got into I had a housing situation that I just won the other day.
Nice.
Victory. So I was afraid and I painted the walls. But I left that in defiance. So here you have canvas sculpture, which is a really big thing that I'm working on lately, for a little while now. And all the sculptures are done with plaster, and a few of them, these three, are done with cement. And the idea behind these canvas sculpture is, I don't know if you've ever worked with plaster, but you have to be really quick. It's kind of like a being quick on your feet kind of thing. And so, you know, the mastery comes in working with it enough to create a shape and a structure without knowing what that structure or shape is going to be. So I have an idea of what it might look like, but I never know truly what it's going to look like until it's done. And it comes out good. I'm really impressed by these. I came up with this. I didn't come up with the technique. I'm sure other people are using plaster to make sculpture, but I wanted to add a thickness to my work, and so I started messing around with the plaster, and then it just grew into this.
And what about the fabrics hanging from the...
Yeah, so these are the double-sided interactive sculpture pieces. One side is electric wind, mostly, and then the other side is another abstract expressionist painting. The idea behind these is you can manipulate them in the way that you want. So it allows the audience to collaborate with me as an artist. So I make the painting, and then you're able to take the painting and do what you want to do with it.
So I know that your art is available at exhibitions in Los Angeles and Paris and Copenhagen. Are there certain pieces that sell better depending on the culture?
Yeah, you just never know what anyone's going to be drawn to. You know, I think that with my work, or with artwork itself, people are drawn to things that they see themselves in some way, which is, you know, the great thing about my abstract self-portrait are they're all reflections of me, but I think that people collect what they see of themselves, you know, whether it be a man or a woman. There's something in these crazy faces that reminds them of themselves. And so I think that, you know, that just goes across the board. Whatever country or city you happen to be in, if someone sees something that speaks to them, which, you know, the other thing is like, all my work is just a reflection of like what God speaks to me. So if someone likes the work, that must be God speaking to them. And so that's what people connect to, rather than like a color or an image. I just think that they hear something.
I'd love for you to say something. You're so incredibly quotable. Would you say something about, I think a lot of people are very frightened of art. Can you say something about why everybody should walk into a gallery or be open to art, that it's here to be loved and appreciated and move us? And
I think that, you know, art is love, and let's see, this is a tricky one. It's not so tricky. I think that if an artist puts love into the work, then the art is love. And for the most part, most artists are making work because they love it, rather than the outcome of making art, which is the, you know, the commerce. It's like, I could sit around here making artwork because I know someone's gonna buy it, or I can sit around here and make artwork because I love it and because it loves me, which is the reason I started painting. Was out of loss of someone that I love, and so I've been painting, you know, ever since, to just recreate love. It's like the way that I preserve people's memory in my art, and just the way to spread love, you know, like that is, we're put on this earth to love each other, And so, one way I'm able to do that constantly is by loving what I do. I get to do this for a living, but it's also the thing that keeps me alive, and I love that. And it's like if I don't paint, then usually that's why I was painting these coats, because I didn't really have to do anything, and I was like, let me make something that I can wear out into the world. And so, I started to do that.